Okay, I'm going live. Spur of the moment. I have to talk about this. I've wanted to talk about this for a long time. And this is about becoming a best-selling author, a successful author, a author who commands rooms, the author you see on the stage, the author who gets invitations to speaking gigs and podcasts and trips to Hawaii on autopilot in their inbox, the author who isn't constantly grinding on social media, the author who isn't constantly cold pitching and cold outreaching and hoping that something happens, the person who isn't constantly biting their nails, the author who isn't living in anxiety, the author who isn't overthinking. That is the person that we want to be so badly, and we are reaching for it all the time. Um, And I'm reaching for my next level too. I'm reaching for my next level, and you are reaching for your next level. And for many of y'all are reaching for this possibility of one day you will be an author that people will speak the name of without you having to be in the room. Wouldn't that feel amazing? What kind of impact you would make? Now, there's a reason why you're not experiencing that yet. I'm going to tell the reason with a story. I was just in some sales conversations and DMs with some of y'all, and there are two types of people. The person who knows that they need to transform from the inside out for them to achieve the result that they want to have. And there's another kind of person who, expects things to happen to them. They want to grind it out. They want to continue doing what they want to do on social media. They want to still have the same thoughts and beliefs. They still want to act the same way that they have acted for forever and expect different results. And in fact, they even blame other people for why they aren't expecting or they don't have the results that they have yet. I might even say things like, you know, these people see me and people just sell to me all the time. I can't seem to catch a break. I can't seem to I'm not a winner. No matter what I do, I can't win. In fact, when someone tells you that you are a winner, you have this glimmer of shame. You have this glimmer of self-doubt. You have these glimmers of guilt and shame and self-doubt. And that is the thing that is causing you to continue to experience the same reality. All right. And let's just be let's just be candid. Let's talk metaphysics here, okay? Because when it comes to experiencing different results in your life, it's not about you grind and do and do and do and do more. You actually have to be that person first before you do different things. And when you do different things, you can have the outcome that you want. So be, then do, and then have. All right. So I'm currently living in my new house. My husband and I just bought this beautiful new house. Oh my gosh, like you guys are seeing it right here. And it is absolutely a result of inner transformation and inner work that I had to become someone different so that I could do different things so that I could afford and maintain this new expansion that I wanted to have. And so for many of y'all are wanting this new experience, right? You want to become a best-selling author. And in fact, inside the Smoke and Hot Books world, we call this being a viral author. You are a viral author, someone that other people speak the name of without you having to be in the room because your book traveled before you. Isn't that something that you want? So, inside Viral Author Academy, which is our Smoke and Hot Books flagship program. I could have just told people like just do these certain things, do these certain things so that you can ultimately have this particular outcome. But I knew that that wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to no way people were going to get results that they necessarily wanted and they weren't even going to be able to hold the results. So I'm speaking to you if you are a winner. If you identify as a high performer, you identify as someone who you know and you expect your book to become a viral book. You expect great results. You expect to sell thousands of copies. You expect to have a world impacting business, right? These are the things that you're expecting. And you can't really expect to have these things with a book that only sells 200 copies in its lifetime, which is, by the way, the average. Okay. I don't talk to people who are average. I don't, I don't, I don't need to talk to people who are average. There are so many. Just go to Google. Just go to Google and Google how to publish a book. And there'll be hundreds of people competing for your attention to help you publish a book that is average. You will write an average book with an average ghostwriter. You will have an average title. You'll have an average cover. You'll have average results. Great. That's totally there. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those who expect excellence for themselves, who expect virality for themselves, who expect authority for themselves, who expect a high performing result for themselves because you are a high performer. And the reason why Viral Author Academy or any of the programs that I sell and offer are not for everybody is because every single client that I work with has to go through an identity transformation, a spiritual transformation from the inside out. So what do I mean by that? Well, the first client I ever worked with, her name was, well, first client I ever worked with, she wanted her book to go to go viral. She wanted her book to do really well. She wanted her book to help her launch her coaching business, and it did. It absolutely did. But the difference between where she started out and where she ended up when we started working together was that she became someone who could hold the attention, the identity, the 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 eyeballs of being vulnerable and bearing her soul to the world. She could tell her story, articulate her story, and articulate the value of her story and her message succinctly, clearly on a top 2% global podcast by the time we finished working together. That is the level of spiritual the identity transformation that gets to happen through being a viral author or a Smoking Hot Books client, a viral author. And that's what you must expect to happen for yourself if you want to become a successful author. So, what does that look like? I'm going to share my screen. That involves overhauling your entire identity. And this is the author identity guide for those who are inside Viral Author Academy. And in fact, I would recommend actually for many of y'all that Viral Author Academy is actually a stronger program than and is the program that you need more than just working with me one on one because you need to take the time to completely overhaul your identity. That doesn't happen overnight. In fact, I do. This is mine. I'm about to show you mine, or I'm about to bare my soul to the world. Um, and you're about to see what what it takes to actually like sit with yourself and not abandon yourself. Sit with yourself and wonder, why have I not, even after all this time, after all this money I've spent, after all these coaches I've hired, after all this time and grinding, why am I still not experiencing the best-selling book, the coaching clients, the consulting clients? Why am I not here experiencing what I thought I would want to manifest? And so this guide right here is the reason why Smoke and Hot Books clients, why Viral Author Academy students become authors who guest on top 2% global podcast, who can hold the eyeballs, who can hold the attention, who can hold the vulnerability of bearing their soul to the world so that people are attracted to them so that you can build intimacy with them and attract brand, attract an audience, and ultimately grow your business with intimacy. All right. So here's the author identity guide for those inside Viral Author Academy. And you'll see how this the subtitle of this author identity guide is that your story is your greatest asset. So many authors want to be as an author and a storyteller and someone who goes on podcasts because they want the fame, they want the fortune, but they don't necessarily want the intimacy. And viral authors know Mike Michalowicz, Donald Miller, Tony Robbins, Amy Porterfield, Jen Sincero, they are all masters of controlling the narrative of how much they want to let people in, but they still let people in. They let people in to let people know that they haven't always had conventional success and that they had to go through a story of transformation to get to that point, a period of rock bottom until they could get to a period of where they actually are experiencing success. You have that story, and that story is your greatest asset. Never forget that. All right. So, with this identity guide, every student inside Viral Author Academy goes through the process of creating an upgraded operating system, an upgraded identity, an upgraded belief system. Because when you do that, you can be someone new, be that new person. So you automatically do the things that leads to the manifestation of what you want. Like this beautiful house that I'm living in right now, right? The ultimate assumption here is that if you are not someone who believes that you're responsible for the outcomes in your life, then I'm not talking to you. But I am talking to you if you're a winner, if you're a high performer, if you know, not just believe, but you know that you're the sole creator of your life and everything that happens in your material reality is simply just a result of your internal reality, your thoughts, your beliefs, your faith, the way that you manage your emotions. Managing your thoughts and beliefs and your reality would have no choice but to respond, to bend, to 3D bend to your reality. Okay? It's like how when Moses stood at the Red Sea and he said he wanted to part the waves of the Red Sea, 3D bend. The 3D reality bent to his will. The ultimate cosmic law is the law of variation, and nothing is in its final form. Neither are you are in your final form. Who are you becoming? Who are you just leaving your becoming on accident and you just become whoever all the social media gurus tell you who to be and Alex Hormozy tells you to do this and so you do it. Tony Robbins tell you to jump and you ask how high? Are you just going to let everyone else tell you who you're going to be and what you're going to say? Or are you going to intentionally design your life so that you have the ultimate reality that you want? I'm about to go to Greece for a month in July. I don't know a lot of business owners who get to have an awesome business while also taking time off, while also living. I'm designing my dream life. You get to design yours too. And all high achievers and high performers know this. Now, this is where you begin to design your dream life by identifying the kinds of people that you want to remember who you want to be like. And don't get it twisted because there are tons of people who you don't want to be like. Get clarity. Who do you want to be like? You want to outline your story. Who were you in the past in detail? And then you get to start designing your future. You get to design who you get to be and who you want to be in detail. Okay, so this is what you get to have. And as such, who do you need to be as a result to achieve and experience the manifestation of your thoughts and your beliefs? Okay. So I literally have it here. I'm designing my video game character. I have talents. I even have my appearance. So here's something crazy about this is that 2 years ago I said my nails, where are they? Almond nails, pretty and natural. Toenails always pretty, always done. And at the time, I bit my nails every single day. They were absolute nubs. They were bloody, they were disgusting, and I had tried everything to stop biting my nails. I didn't know how to do it. But after reading this identity guide and I'm starting to embody this video game character, I now have stopped completely biting my nails. Let the results speak for themselves. Okay. This is how you design your video game character and your author brand. Author brand. Who are you as an author and what do you do? What do you speak about constantly? Who do you want to be known as? This is exactly what Stella, who is in Viral Author Academy, was doing. She has now clarified her identity, her author identity, to a point where she now knows exactly what she's talking about now. What is your personal brand? We design your personal brand inside Viral Author Academy so that you are known as the go-to person for your specific niche. Not just as a go-to person, but the go-to authority, which is what you wrote your book about, right? Or for. These are the feelings that you want to experience as a best-selling author, as that wealthy, abundant, aligned author that you're so desperate trying to be, you're grasping at straws to be. The reason that you want to experience that is because you want to experience a certain feeling. What are those feelings? We write them here. And as soon as you are able, you start embodying all of those feelings right now. These feelings are internal and now. The more you can embody these feelings, the more quickly you will experience the manifestation of your desire. Okay. So this is the author identity guide. And this is how we inside Viral Author Academy your life, design your life and your author journey. So we have Gwen here, John Buchholz. Thanks for joining. Now, this was an unannounced Substack Live, and I am here to um not necessarily announcing it to anyone. This is for those who realize that there's a lot of scammers out there. There's a lot of people out there who love to help people with books, and those are a dime a dozen. Those are the Walmart. Those are the Walmart. Um, and there's plenty of room for that. But inside the Harvard, the Yale, the Georgia Tech of book marketing programs, there's not a lot of room. And if you see yourself performing at a high level, people tell me all the time they want their book to sell millions of copies around the world. Do you really? Do you really want the work, the internal work of what it actually takes to show up on a podcast and be vulnerable and authoritative and to adjust your book marketing, your title, your cover, and tweak and constantly adjust your ads so that you have a best-selling book? Are you willing to do that? Because high performers are, because best-selling authors are, because viral authors are, because smoking hot books clients are, because they want a smoking hot book. Here's Michael. All right. That's the end of this Substack Live. And for those who are watching now or later, we are having a 3-day book marketing and author success workshop next week called the 10,000 Copies Book Launch System. This really is for those who have seen and envisioned their book selling 10,000 copies. And they're like, I know it's available. I just don't know how to do it. In fact, I'm picking that frequency out of the available frequencies. And I'm saying, I want that one. I'm looking for the way to get there. I'm looking for the path, the signal and the noise to get there. And if you are looking for that, this workshop is for you. The 10,000 Copies Book Launch System. I'll link it in the show notes below. And I'll see you next week. Sounds good. Talk to you all soon.